Jared James here, and want to say welcome to the 2020 Agent Rally. Really excited to be doing this, guys. I'm connected with so many of you. As many of you know, I'm the official coach for your guys' offices. I'm connected with a lot of you. I talk back and forth with a lot of you, and honestly, I can't wait until we get a chance to actually do this in person again and hug it out, give a high five, whatever it is. That's going to be a good day. This rally is obviously going to look a little bit different than previous years, but it's still going to have a lot of inspiration and motivation and education and any other kind of shin you can think about. We're going to do that. And I wanted to take a quick second and say congrats and thank you also to Dan Cruz and the whole leadership team for doing this for you guys. You know, this isn't easy to pull off. It's different. It's scary. It's, how's it going to work? It's new for everybody. We just did it with our advance and it's kind of freaky. And so when you get a chance, guys, and you see them, make sure you say thank you. But the greatest way you can say thank you is by actually, taking part in this and doing the things that you learn. I think that that's going to be the best way you can say thank you. Okay. The nice thing is you get to watch this, whether you're at home or whether you're, hopefully not in the car, or whether you're watching them in the office, whatever it is. But again, make sure you take advantage of it. This is Century 21 Affiliated's first time ever doing a virtual event. And you'll notice that we're using something called the Hopin platform, and it's new for everyone. And what I know when it comes to technology is that when you use something new, there's bound to be some kind of technological issues, something like that. For some of you, when you're at home, please keep in mind that it's not the platform. It might be your internet connection. You might need to log out, log back in. But for those of you that have any kind of issues, there is a chat bar to help you navigate with any kind of issues. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. We have an amazing agenda, an amazing lineup for you guys today. We're going to be hearing from your very own CEO and president of Century 21 Affiliated, Mr. Dan Cruz, which I'm excited about hearing that. He always does a really great job. I hope you guys don't underestimate that. I go to a lot of events, and usually the CEOs and the presidents, it's kind of like, how long is this going to be? But you guys have somebody who's worth listening to, which is awesome. You're also going to hear from the CEO of Century 21 overall, Mike Meadler, another friend of mine who does an amazing job. So I think you're going to get a lot of info on that. And quite frankly, this is the time when we want to hear what's next. We want to hear what's coming up. So make sure you pay attention to that. You're going to hear from a leadership panel that is going to answer the questions that so many of you submitted from home. So listen into that. And then you're going to get to hear from one of the highest rated female keynote speakers in the world, Miss Robin Benincasa. And that's going to be something that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. And then they've asked me to kind of talk about two different things that I think matter for you guys. So I'm looking forward to doing that too. You're going to want to pay attention, take some notes, because it's my belief that 2021 has amazing opportunities, and there's so much out there for us, but it's not for everyone. It's for those that are actually prepared, those that aren't just sitting on their hands and waiting to see what comes to them. So before I do that, I want to go into a couple of announcements. First, but not least, like I said, if you have any kind of tech issues, that's kind of to be expected when you're dealing with a virtual platform. Just visit the tech support section, which is right under in the Sessions tab on the left side of your screen. That'll be there. We're also going to play a game. We're going to play an unscramble game. You've probably seen the announcements beforehand about this. You might have heard about this. You're going to want to take part in this because you have a chance to win a prize today, okay? So what's basically going to happen is that you're going to need to be a little bit of a detective. Throughout all of the presentations, there are going to be 6 different letters that are going to be very obvious that these are the letters, and you want to write those letters down, because what you're going to do is you're going to take those 6 letters, and on your post-event survey, you're going to try to guess, when you put those 6 letters together and you unscramble them, what word it was that they were trying to use. What word did they come up with to win this game, okay? So there'll be 6 letters as you go along. In your post-event survey, you'll have a spot where you can fill that out, so make sure you fill out the post-event survey. And like I said, there's going to be a prize, a big prize, guys, $10 million. No, it's not $10 million, but it's almost as good, guys. It's a $500 Amazon gift card. So, I mean, that's legit change, guys. Like I wanted to ask them if it was okay if I actually took part in that. Unfortunately, I know the answer, so we can't do that. But it's a $500 Amazon gift card. I don't know any of you that couldn't use a $500 Amazon gift card. A couple of rules to that. You have to be an affiliated agent to win, and it's only one entry per agent for obvious reasons, right? And then last but not least, immediately following the agent rally today, there's going to be a virtual networking session, which we really want you guys to connect as much as possible. You know, it's such a big company. There's so many people out there. So please make sure that you take advantage of that as well. Now, with that networking event, you're also going to need to, there's a networking tab. You're going to leave the live tab and go to the networking tab. So with that being said, the first letter that you guys need as one of the 6 is the letter E. It's the letter E as in elephant. It's the letter E as in everyone. It is the letter E as in E. I think we all can get that down, that it is the letter E, okay? So make sure you guys are writing that down. That's going to be an important one right there. It's going to matter at some point today. It's absolutely going to matter, so make sure you have that. And with that being said, guys, I'd like to go into, for just a few minutes here, the first topic, the first point when they asked me to make 2 points that I thought would matter. And that is when you start to look at, you know, where we are as an industry, when you start to look at what's going on, there's so much going on right now. The first point that I think matters for you guys is the idea of, do you have a plan for post-close? You know, I actually had shared this with you guys last year, but I think it's more important than ever right now. When you look at these slides right here, I had talked to you about all of the money that was getting poured into our industry, right? I had talked about the billions of dollars into iBuyer, the billions of dollars into mortgage, all of this stuff. And when I was with you, I talked about this, the $0 getting put into post-purchase. And it sounds crazy because you've got all these disruptors that are coming in and they, you know, feel like they know the industry really well, and yet they invest billions of dollars and none into post-purchase. And I made the joke and I was like, well, just when we think that they're crazy, you know, the truth of the matter is they probably learned this by watching us, right? Because we really don't spend enough time on post-close. We don't spend enough time on the lifetime value of that client. And then I talked about with you guys, and I talked about this point right here. For those of you that sat in my session last year, for those of you that were at the Century 21 international event, or for those of you that have followed on any level, you know what this number represents, $117,000. And for those of you that don't know or maybe newer, $117,000 represents the lifetime value of a client. They did a study and they found that the average real estate client was worth $117,000, not the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 that you get as a commission, but 117 lifetime over the course of their life. And it brought up a really interesting point, which is this right here. And I'm going to find a way, by the way, for you guys to get these slides, so don't worry. But this is the traditional marketing funnel. You know, I had this conversation with Darren Dawson at our Advance, the founder of BombBomb. And we were talking about this right here. This is what people traditionally think about. They think about the traditional marketing funnel. And whether you recognize it or not, whether you know it or not, this is how most sales funnels go. This is where business comes from. This is where, this is how it works. Whether it's an internet lead, whether it's a referral, they come in somewhere in the funnel, and the closer they are to the bottom, the easier it is for the chicken to get rid of that egg, so to say, right? That's the traditional marketing funnel. But one of the major points that I need all of you to understand, knowing that the average lifetime value of a client is $117,000, is that the funnel has changed. And this is how it's changed. When you look at what we call the bow tie funnel, right? It almost takes that marketing funnel and it flips it sideways. And this is the point that I need most of you to understand. Too many agents think that the transaction stops at the closing. And what I need you to understand is that the transaction doesn't stop at the closing. It actually starts at the closing. Because think of it from a very simple perspective, guys. If the average lifetime value of a client is $117,000, right? Where is the most value with a client? Is it in the left side where most of us are spending our energy, where most of us are spending our money, where most of us are spending our time, where most of us are spending all of that stuff, right? Or is it on the right side? Which side equals more value? Because here's what we know about the real estate industry. And you know this is true. And I can say this because I can't see you, so nobody has to feel bad about themselves. But if I could see you, and I'd say by a show of hands, how many of you have ever had a client that you were so close to for the 3 to 6 months that you work with them that they were halfway ready to name their children after you. And then all of a sudden they close, and what happens? 2 months go by, 3 months go by, a year goes by. You go from them just about ready to name their kids after you. You're so close with them. You're riding in the same car all the time, to now you run into them in the supermarket 2 years later, and it's awkward because you didn't stay in touch, right? And so the ultimate question here is this: where does the value actually lie, on the left side or the right side? And the obvious answer to that question is the majority of the value with a client is on the right side. It's actually in post-close. It's not in pre-close. And I'm not saying we shouldn't focus on pre-close. I'm saying, what are you doing on post-close? What is your plan? If I could see you right now, I'd say, how many of you actually have a plan for post-close? How many of you actually have a drip campaign set up? Because we all have these drip campaigns, follow up with leads. You guys know that I'm the guy, that you follow up with a lead until you get one of two fingers, right? Till you get the thumbs up, or until you get the not thumbs up, right? One of two fingers. I'm the guy that says that. And we have drip campaigns for things like that. But then we look at $117,000 lifetime value. How many of you have a campaign set up for the right side of the funnel? I would guess probably not that many of you, right? It's a pretty simple process, but how many of you actually have that? You see, the only way that you're going to counter the world we live in today with all of the disruptors and the apps and the third part, all of this kind of stuff, is if you do what they don't do. I showed you that chart. Billions and billions of dollars invested in removing you from the process, and yet zero in post-purchase, which is the most valuable part of the whole funnel when you understand the bow tie funnel, not just the traditional marketing funnel. Now is a time. How many years have I been saying to you guys? I was at your event last year and I did a whole session on database. And I was like, the power of database and the power of social is that it allows you to be direct to consumer. When you're direct to consumer, you get there first, right? How many times? Visibility trumps ability. Visibility, you need to be visible. You're visible through social. You're visible through that database. You're visible through these things, right? So my question again is, what is your plan for post-purchase? Here's another question. How many of you right now, in some way, have some kind of a loyalty program for your past clients? And if I could see you again, I'd say, I'll wait. Because I would guarantee that almost every single one of you don't have a loyalty program for your clients. And yet, don't people love loyalty programs? I flew the other day to Colorado. I had to go and do an event in Colorado. I flew to Colorado. I didn't even look at other airlines. All I looked at was Delta. Why did I only look at Delta? Because I have a loyalty program with them that ultimately makes it worth it for me to only look at them, because I get upgraded. I get, different rewards. I get free stuff. I get treated differently. So I go there. Why do we in this industry not have a loyalty program for our clients? Why have we not created it yet, right? That's one thing. These are very quick pointers I'm giving today, but that's one thing that you need to do like now, not wait, not whatever. That's something that needs to happen absolutely now. Create a loyalty program. For those of you that are in our Facebook group, Jared James Coaching, the Facebook group, you all should be in it. There are threads in there that you can go and you can search and you can see all of these comments about what people are doing all around the world to create loyalty programs. But let's keep it real simple. Why wouldn't you have a loyalty program for all your past people? Again, plan for post-close that gets them a gift card every year. As part of my past clients, you get a $50 gift card to the restaurant of your choice. As part of my loyalty program, if you have children, I'm going to offer you 1 night per year of babysitting. Whether you send your teenage kids over there or whether you're going to pay for babysitting, I'm going to pay for a date night. I'm going to pay. It's part of the loyalty program. Only offer that part, obviously, if they have children. Otherwise, it's super weird, right? Part of my loyalty program, I'm going to give you the value every single year of your home. I'm going to let you keep up with it just like any investment. It's part of my loyalty program. I'm going to give you a tax assessment appeal for free every single year. So when the town comes in and says your house is worth $5 million when it's worth $500,000, I'm going to come in and I'm going to help you with a tax assessment appeal or something like that. Guys, the point is this. Don't miss the point of what I'm trying to say to you right now, is this stuff right here is simple stuff. It's not the stuff that you were doing, 20 years ago. It's not the stuff you're doing 15. It's not the stuff you're doing 5 years ago. This is the kind of stuff that you have to do to stay ahead now in a marketplace where your competition is not just your competition anymore. I mean, think about that, guys. Your competition is no longer your competition. They're somewhat your competition, but you've got all these other forces that are coming in, all of these other places that are coming in and trying to squeeze you and trying to get in front of your clients first. Visibility trumps ability. They're trying to get there first. They're trying to get on their phones first. The only way that you combat it is by getting closer and closer to your database. And you know that I'm the guy that's tech and digital marketing, and I believe in all of that. But you can't go so far over the edge that you forget the things that have always worked, and you forget what will absolutely counter, your boots on the ground, guys. You will counter what's going on with all of these disruptors and everything, right? And so how do you do that? The number one way you can do that is by having a plan for post-close. So if you get anything out of this little part right here, it's very simple, it's very quick, it's very short. What is your plan for post-close? I just gave you one example. There's many others, guys. We could do an hour-long session on this, on what kind of email marketing to be doing, what kind of content to be creating, how often to be reaching out. Here's the beauty, though, of having some kind of a loyalty program that you give to all of your people and you make them a part of it and you message only those people and maybe you give them a little card or something to make them feel official and whatever. It gives you an excuse to reach out. Right? Not awkwardly, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell? But now you've got an excuse to reach out in 6 months and say, hey, where do you want your gift card to? I got to take advantage of that as part of the loyalty program, right? Gives you an advantage, a reason to reach out in 9 months and say, hey, you haven't taken advantage of the babysitting night. I'm sure you guys need a break. What night do you want? I'll send over Cynthia. I'll send over John. I'll send over, whatever. Gives you a reason to reach out for that tax assessment appeal. Gives you a reason this is giving you excuses to reach out to get closer and closer to your database, because the average lifetime value of a client is $117,000. It's not $5,000. It's not $7,000. And the more valuable side of the funnel, it's not the traditional marketing funnel. It's now the bow tie funnel. The more valuable side of the funnel is the right side of the funnel, which is the side that so many of us have been ignoring, and we need to stop ignoring it. And one way you can easily do that is, what are you going to do as a client loyalty program? That's the one thing I want to get across to you guys today, okay? As I always say, guys, if you have questions about any of that, or you want to join the group to be able to see what other agents are doing for this, just go to connectwithjared.com. Again, go to connectwithjared.com. All of the social platforms there. You can DM me, direct message me. I already write back and forth every single day with so many of you on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and comments in YouTube and all these different places, guys. So any specific questions, reach out that way. The link for the group is on there as well, the Jared James Coaching Group on Facebook, which all of you get access to because you're all coaching members because of your amazing leaders at Century 21 affiliated. So take advantage of that, okay? Jared James here, and welcome back. First off, guys, congrats to you. I'm not shocked to see that so much of the stuff that you guys have done, the way that you guys have been able to pivot, the way that you guys have come through, and your numbers are amazing and everything is no shock to me. So congrats to all of you. Absolutely amazing, and a testament not only to your management team, but also to you guys. So congrats to all of you. Let's face it, guys. I mean, 2020 has been a doozy. I've been joking around a lot lately and talking about how I feel like this whole year is my fault because I didn't forward that email on to 10 people. Bad things were going to happen if I didn't do that, right? But let's face it, it's been a doozy. And I said this at the beginning, and I really believe this, that there is amazing opportunity in 2021, but it's not opportunity for everybody. It's opportunity for those that are prepared. It's going to be opportunity for those that follow a plan. It's going to be those that actually go out and make it happen. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that now. We know that listings matter, and I want to talk about a few different ways that you guys can be getting ahead and you can be getting those listings, okay? So there's really 3 ways that you can get new business, right? You can either wait for it, you can pay for it, or you can make it happen. And an interesting thing has happened the last, I'd say, probably 5 to 10 years, right? The last 5 to 10 years, we've seen a situation where when I was teaching new business 10 years ago, what would happen is that you would you would have about 68% of all business coming from referrals, right? And when you look at last year, according to NAR, that data that comes out, last year, we now know that about 39% of all business comes from referrals. So there's a couple ways to look at that. One is that people have gone so far the other end and now they ignore referrals, they ignore their database, whatever, and they're only digital and all these other things. But the other is, hey, you still got to pay attention to how important that is. That still matters, right? Your database matters, those referrals matter, but also the new ways of gaining business matter as well, right? So I'm going to cover a few of those with you. Guys, take some notes because I'm going to go kind of step by step. We've got to do it kind of quick because of the time, but take some notes here, okay? If you want listings, which I think a lot of you do, right? I always say that, you know, you've got to have the cheese to get the mice. You got to have the chum to get the sharks. And listings are one of those things that help you attract other buyers and sellers, okay? So first thing that we want to do, very simply, I'd ask you, what is your compelling call to action? You know, when I look at a lot of agents marketing, they think that a call to action is having a phone number, right? Having a phone number is not a call to action. A call to action would be things like a guaranteed sale program. And I'll do these very quickly. I'll go one by one, but guaranteed sale program. Another one would be an instant offer program. Do you know that 93% of all sellers, when polled, want an instant offer, even though less than 1% of them ever take it? Instant offer program. Certified pre-owned homes, right? That's an important one. Love it or list it. Okay, that's another one. So let's talk about these very quickly because I want to cover 2 or 3 in the amount of time we have. Guaranteed sale program. That's a program. Again, you can go into our group and get more details on it. But basically, it's the idea I'll sell it in this amount of time, guaranteed, or I'll buy it, right? Now, out of all of our people that do this, they use it so they can market, so they can get in front of people. It makes them visible. Visibility trumps ability, right? And so when you start to look at that and you see, okay, they're using it, but only 1% or less than 1% actually take advantage, it's a funny thing because it'll get you in the door when you are able to market to people, hey, we'll sell your house in 30 days, otherwise we'll buy it. But what a lot of people don't understand is that there's stipulations in there. You have to list at my price. You have to lower it this much every single week. There's all these stipulations. By the time you look at it, for most people, it makes absolutely no sense for them to use that program, but it got you in the door. And quite frankly, if they did follow it, you'd want to buy it after a month because it's so ridiculously low, right? So we know that the guaranteed sale program is one of them that you want to do. What's the second one you want to do? Second one, instant offer. We've all seen this being offered by Zillows and all these other places, right? And you know, some of us get angry, some of us like it, some of us, you know, whatever, right? But in the end, we know that 93% of sellers want it. So how do you actually make that happen? Instant offers. You do that by creating relationships with investors, okay? If you go to your local REIA, your REIA, Real Estate Investors Association, or any other group of investors that work around you, create relationships. Get about 5 investors that will guarantee or they'll promise to you that anytime you bring them a property, they'll make an offer within 24 hours, right? You now have the ability to market to your marketplace that I do instant offers. The offers are probably going to be low. The offers aren't, but it gets you in the door. Instant offers, right? Create 5 different relationships with 5 different investors. That's one way. Certified pre-owned homes. I've been talking about this one for years. Certified pre-owned homes, right? Certified pre-owned homes are pretty simple. What it is you are going to set up a situation with a seller where you will pay to have an inspector inspect their house prior to listing, right? And that inspection report will be given to the potential buyer. Any major issues will be fixed because they're going to come up by the buyer anyway, so you've got to bring them up. You will also pay for a year home warranty on the home. And now, and by the way, what you do is you make a deal with the inspectors in the area, and you do, basically they'll give you like half price pricing because you're doing it so often with all of your listings, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to market that to your neighborhood that I have that I'm going to have, what do you call it? Pre-owned homes, certified pre-owned homes. And you're now going to go in on every listing, have an inspection done you pay for, offer a year-long home warranty. Now that's not only a draw for the sellers, but that's a draw for the buyers because they're coming to look at a certified pre-owned home. It's done with cars. It's done with so many other things. And what are they really doing? They're doing their 52-point check. They're doing whatever it is. That's what you want to be doing on yours as well. Again, more details, what it looks like, how to market it. Go into our group, and there's all sorts of stuff there of examples from agents that you can use. Look at exactly what they're doing, right? And then take it to a place like Fiverr, 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 or Upwork, Upwork. Duplicate it, pay $5, $10, $20, have them create it for you. Now you have something to market, right? So certified pre-owned homes. What about another one? Love it or list it. We have students that are marketing love it or list it as a call to action, where they promise people that if they move into a home they don't love within 30 days, that they will sell it for them for no commission. So buy the home, you're not sure. If you don't love it within 30 days, we'll sell it for no commission. Like, I won't take any money on it. We have one of our students is actually the #1 team in all of San Francisco and Sacramento in California. And he said he's done this hundreds and hundreds of times, and he's never once had one client actually take advantage of the program. It gets them in the door, it gets them to use them, but it doesn't actually, almost none of them ever take advantage of it because people don't want to move into a house and then ultimately move on, right? Another way you create listings, not going to do this one in detail because we already talked about it in my last one, but you want to make sure that you have some kind of a loyalty program, right? We talked about this, a loyalty program. So go back to the first session, go into our group, see what that looks like. It's a great way to get not only sellers, but also buyers, but especially sellers as well. Here's the next one. And this is a big one, guys. Not enough of us are doing this. Send out financial updates to all of your past clients, okay? Follow me on this. For any of you that invest, or someone who does, or you've got a 401k, or you've got something like that, doesn't the financial planner ultimately touch base with you at least once a year and let you know how your investment's doing? Because it matters. It's up 10%, it's up 5%, it's down 3%. That's their job. What's the biggest investment people have? What's the #1 contributor to their retirement? It's their home. So why wouldn't we be using this as an excuse to reach out to them every year to give them an update on its value? It's another reason to be reaching out, right? And so what you do is you are going to make a reminder in your CRM, in your online calendar, whatever it is, for 351 days after they close, right? And then every year after that, so that you are now reaching out almost a year after they've closed on a home, and then every year after that to give them an update on their home's value, because they want to know, how is it doing? They want to know things like, hey, your value's up this much, you have this much equity. Are you aware you could pull some of that, put it into an investment property, and now you'd be making double, you'd be making money over there and on your home? And you're looking at it from a different perspective and actually giving them value as their agent. But let's take this to another level. What if instead of just giving them their home's value, which is awesome, and it's more than most of us are doing right now, what if we actually went in and we did it with Google Earth? Okay, if you go into Google and you go into Google Earth, it's free. You can type in an address and it will do a big overhead of that address, and you can zoom in, zoom out, the whole thing. And if you use a company like whatever, BombBomb, QuickTime, any one of these companies that does recordings, Zoom, like any one of these that does recordings, what you can do is you can screen share Google Earth of their property, put in their address, their property. And now when you give them an update on their property, you're going to do it with an overhead of their property, with you down in the bottom right-hand corner talking while you're showing their property, right? And if you use a company like BombBomb or one of those companies, you get to pick which picture, which one of those is going to be the thumbnail that they look at. And who is not going to open up a video that has a large overhead of their property? Everyone's going to, right? It's another reason to reach out. It's another reason to have that conversation, to talk about the market, right? But here's a way you can actually leverage it with your database. Now, I think you all would agree that you have people in your database that aren't past clients, right? And we want to leverage them and turn them into past clients. So what if you shot a video and the thumbnail of the video, if you use BombBomb, it lets you do like a little GIF as the actual thumbnail of the video. What if you held up two different signs? and they said 11%, 7.2%. And the subject of your email for the video to these people who you haven't worked with but are in your database is watch the video to find out what these two numbers mean for the value of your home. And they're like, what? And then when they open the video, those two numbers are the numbers locally and nationally that houses have increased. And now you get to talk about and go into, again, that Google Earth video of their home saying, hey, nationally, things have gone up 5.2%, but locally, they've gone up 8.7%, which means your value is blank. And here's what that means, and here's what whatever. But now you're pulling them in by bringing in their local market, and you're showing them their home, the overhead of their home. Now you're getting people who you've never even worked with to actually start to work with you, to start to watch your video because it matters to them. Now, if you want to take this one step further, if you use a company like BombBomb, one of the really cool things is that it will then show you, whether it's BombBomb, whether it's whatever company you use, they almost always show you this. They'll show you who watched the video. So you can see who opened the email and you can see who clicked the video and watched it. Now we're going to take macro and turn it into micro. And we're going to follow up in a couple days and we're going to see that, oh, look, these 74 people watched this video on their home. Now I'm going to reach out to them individually. I'm going to make individual videos for them and say, hey, Tom, hey, this, hey, that. Not sure if you watched my last video or not, which we are sure. That's why we're reaching out. But hey, wanted to let you know one more really interesting thing about your home or about your market that you're really going to want to know about. Let me know when you can chat. Let me know when you're available. And now you've taken macro, larger numbers, and you've gone absolute micro, and you're able to pull those people out of your database off of one send, but then following the data, the analytics, right? What else can you do? Guys, number one way to create sellers, quite frankly, is to leverage buyers. It's the number one way. You need to remember that in this market, every single action deserves a reaction. And so that means when you go and make an offer and it's not accepted, which has happened to all of you, I'm sure, that means that you are going to send out what we call, or let's just say you go and do a showing, right? Buyer neighborhood letter. They didn't buy the house. The letter goes out. It's on your coaching dashboard. You're all a part of, by the way, guys, the way your virtual coaching dashboard, this letter's available, goes out to the whole area. It says, hey, I showed your house to your neighbor's house the other day to my buyers, Johnny and Sandy, and their two kids. Unfortunately, it wasn't the perfect property for them. But as I'm sure you're not aware, they absolutely love the neighborhood. Here's what they're looking for. And then you basically describe every house in that neighborhood. Then comes the COVID style language that you need to use over and over again. Okay. If you or anyone you know is even considering selling, can you please let me know right away? I may be able to sell your house without it ever even hitting the market because I've got buyers right here. You see that? That language has to be used over and over again. Another way you leverage buyers to get sellers is you make a video. Every buyer you have, you should make a video and promote it to your town and say, hey, everyone, I've got these two buyers in so-and-so county looking for 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, 3 or 4 bedrooms. They're looking for blah, 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 blah. They're ready, willing, and able right now. If you or someone you know is even considering selling, please let me know right away. I may be able to sell their house without it ever even hitting the market. Use that language over and over again. Promote it to the area. Get in front of people who don't know you. Watch how many more opportunities you will ultimately have. And last but not least, guys, do a great job with your current sellers. Do you know they did a study and they found that buyers who would use their agent again and recommend their agent to others was 90%. But sellers who would use their agent again is 48%. The one that we have the most control over is the one that doesn't get used that often. Like it doesn't get used or doesn't get recommended or referred that often. What does that say? The one that we have control over. Every single one of your sellers should be having the same experience, which means every single one of your sellers should be getting the same marketing, the same communication, the same everything. If you're doing your marketing yourself on all of your listings, you're doing a disservice. You doing your marketing yourself is, you know, when you look at a marketing company, they get upset just like when you see a seller selling their homes themselves. Okay. So it's time for you guys to diversify. It's time for you to delegate. It's time for you to start to look at, How do I get a TC that works with me? How do I get a marketing company that will, for every single listing, do the same marketing every time so that on every single listing, I'm getting 2 buyers and 1 seller like we're supposed to, right? So the last tip is do a great job for your sellers, because for too many of us right now, it's simply not happening. Okay. So with that being said, guys, that was just a few tips for you. I want to tell you next for the scramble game. I know we've seen a few letters right now. The next letter that you need to know about is the letter O. The letter O, as in O. I can't think of a word. O, omega is here. Like the letter O is the next letter. Okay. Remember, guys, you're going to take these 6 letters, unscramble them in the post-event survey, and hopefully win a $500 gift card to Amazon. Last thing I'll say before I introduce our next speaker. Guys, make sure, again, all of the templates for these things are in your coaching group. They're on your coaching dashboard. Talk to your manager. If you don't have those credentials there, you should be in the Jared James coaching group on Facebook. That's where a lot of these things are discussed, and you can get help with them, which so many of you need. And you guys can reach out to me anytime, okay? So if as you're watching this, you hear something good or you just want to say hello, take a picture of it, post it on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, tag me, and I will post a couple of them to my stories. Just to kind of give a shout out, just 'cause I've worked with you guys so long and love you guys as a company. Okay. So with that being said, it is my distinct honor to get to introduce Robin Benincasa. Robin is a world champion adventure racer. She's a San Diego City firefighter, a New York Times bestselling author, and even a CNN hero. So she definitely knows a thing or two about building world-class teams that succeed against the toughest of odds. She and her teammates have a resume a mile long with all of their accomplishments, and I can go on and on about her, but let's introduce her the fun way and see her in action. Everyone, do me a favor here, and let's welcome Robin.